This security camera footage shows a truck stopped in the desert and engulfed in flames. You can see two men running away. Police say those men, relatives from the occupied West Bank city of Jenin, are responsible for an attack on a bus carrying Israeli soldiers. It was traveling on Highway 90 in the Jordan Valley on Sunday. The men are accused of overtaking the bus and spraying it with bullets. When it stopped, police say the suspects poured gas on the vehicle and tried to torch it. The soldiers inside fired back. As the suspects drove away, their getaway vehicle caught fire. Police say the flammable liquid used in the attack caused it. A short time later, Israeli forces arrested two men who they say committed the attack and recovered their weapons.
That at least 8 people have been killed in a suicide bombing near the Russian embassy in Kabul. What we know is that the bomber detonated explosives near the entrance to the building in the southwestern part of the capital. Witnesses say people were lined up outside the diplomatic compound at the time. 2 members of the embassy staff are among the dead, and as many as 15 others were injured.
Ten people have died and more than a dozen are wounded across 13 separate crime scenes. Royal Canadian Mounted Police have named 31-year-old Damien Sanderson and 30-year-old Miles Sanderson as suspects, but have provided few other details. Reports of the stabbings began before 6 o'clock in the morning in the Indigenous community of James Smith Cree Nation. Further attacks were later reported in the nearby village of Weldon. By midday, police say the suspects were spotted in Regina, more than 300 kilometres south. A desperate search is now underway for the 2 men, with the entire region on edge.
Ukraine's Prime Minister is visiting Berlin after months of somewhat frosty relations with Germany. Denis Shmyhal is meeting with Chancellor Olaf Scholz and other officials to push for more heavy weapons from Berlin. Shmyhal has offered to send Germany more electricity across the recently linked grid from its nuclear power stations to help with its transition away from Russian energy. For its part, Germany recently announced a new $200 million aid package to help Ukraine's internally displaced people and a major boost to its military aid and weapons catalog.
Six people have died climbing the highest Asian volcano, Klyuchevskaya Sopka, in Russia's far east. 6 more are stranded after icy winds forced authorities to postpone a rescue operation. The region is far away from the Russian heartlands in the west, on the Kamchatka Peninsula, which is dotted with volcanoes and mountains along its spine. Early reports said that 5 people were killed when they fell off a cliff and 1 climber was injured and knocked unconscious. Rescuers are again being scrambled to search the mountain for survivors.
Now, a rotating drop tower ride malfunctioned and fell at a local fair in the Indian city of Mohali in Punjab. The accident left around 50 people injured. No deaths have been reported, but several passengers, including children, were rushed to a local hospital. Videos from the venue in Mohali show the ride malfunctioning while the passengers were mid-air. It came crashing down all of a sudden. The forceful impact unseated the riders when they crash-landed. Fairgoers said that the management fled the location after warning them not to make a big deal of the accident because no one has died. They also alleged that the bouncers at the fair mishandled the crowd.
These are the scenes at a market in Chengdu when Chinese authorities imposed a lockdown this week. Many desperately grabbing what they could before the shelves emptied out. Some going to extreme lengths to stock up. 21 million people live here, and on Thursday, 157 of them tested positive for COVID-19. The government says just one case would be enough to hit pause.
Essential services like supermarkets, pharmacies, and hospitals will remain open. Restaurants are only allowed to offer takeaway, and employees of those places should get tested every day. Every household can send one person with a negative test result to do their shopping once a day.
Rishi Sunak, 60,399. Lizz Truss, 81,326. Therefore, I give notice that Lizz Truss is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. We'll come up on stage.
Three people have been arrested after emergency crews were called to Britain's tallest skyscraper on Sunday after a free climber scaled the building near London Bridge. A small crowd watched as a man climbed the shard, which stands over 1,000 feet high. Workers in nearby offices reported seeing a man making his way way up the structure early in the morning. Police say a 21-year-old man has been taken into custody on suspicion of trespassing. Two other men were both arrested on suspicion of causing public nuisance.
Oh, God.